the protests that took place here on Thursday to mark May Day. There were, in the largest labor strikes since the invasion of Iraq, ports along the West Coast, all 29 of them were shut down as some 25,000 dock workers went on a one-day strike to protest the war. Several other smaller anti-war actions took place in other parts of the country. Meanwhile, tens of thousands of marchers in defense of immigrant labor rights in several cities, including Los Angeles, Chicago, Milwaukee, New York, Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Houston, Seattle, and here in San Diego took to the streets. We're going to turn now to the dock workers' strike, where the workers from the International Longshore and Warehouse Union brought the port operations to a halt from Long Beach to Seattle in defiance of their employers and arbitrators. We're joined on the phone from San Francisco by Jack Heyman, an officer with the International. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Jack Heyman. Can you talk about the significance of what happened yesterday?
Well, yeah, we were really proud here on the West Coast as far as the Longshore Union, the ILWU, making this stand because it's part of our legacy, really, standing up on principled issues. And this, I think, is the first strike ever. Well, I would call it a stop work, work stoppage, whatever you want. Workers withholding their labor in demanding an end to the war and immediate withdrawal of the troops.
What about the significance of the arbitrator saying that the longshoremen should not go out on strike?
Well, you know, the interesting thing about this action is that not only did we defy the arbitrator, but in a certain sense we defied our own union officials. The union officials did not want to have actions that we organized up and down the coast. And the arbitrator's decision is simply, we don't take our orders from the arbitrators. We don't take it from judges. The rank and file goes out and does what it has to do. We did that in 1984 when the ship came in from South Africa, the Ned Lloyd Kimberley. We refused to work that ship for, I think it was 10 or 11 days. And that was in defiance of what an arbitrator said and also against what our union officials were telling us. So we've got a strong tradition in the ILWU of rank and file democracy, workers' democracy, where we implement what we decide in a democratic fashion. And our action took place based on a motion that came out of our caucus, which is like the convention of all longshoremen represented up and down the coast. And we decided to stop work, to stop this war, and that's what was carried out.
The action within Iraq in solidarity with your strike, can you talk about that?
Well, I think that really was the icing on the cake because we were appealing for solidarity actions. And I know there were some actions in New York with the college teachers at New York Community College and teachings with students and so forth. There were postal workers that had a few moments of silence, a few minutes of silence in New York, Greensboro, North Carolina, and out here in the Bay Area. But really the most stunning solidarity came from the port workers in Iraq who struck in solidarity with us. And that was really a very courageous move because they're literally under the gun of a military occupation there.
What are your plans now?
Well, what this action was raising the level of struggle from protest to resistance. And we're hoping that these kinds of actions will resonate to other unions and workers. It's already catching on with some of the port truckers. Actually, they've been doing actions for quite a while. And while it's not mainly based on the war, I think they're very much affected by the high price of fuel. They've been shutting down ports over that issue, but also immigrant rights, because many of them are immigrant workers. And I hope that this will be an example to other workers, that we have the power, we've got to use it. And that's how we can bring this war to a halt.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Jack Heyman, for joining us from San Francisco, officer of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. We're broadcasting in over 700 stations around the country on Pacifica and NPR and Low Power FM and college and community radio stations, on public access TV and PBS TV stations, and both TV satellite networks, Dish Network Channel 9415 Free Speech TV, 9410 Link TV, and on direct